I just want to start off with asking you if you'd be willing to just take a moment and really just ask yourself, what are you grateful for today? What is it that is working for you? And what is it that's thriving for you in your life? And I think that the universe needs our thank you. Sometimes I think we just take for granted, what's going on in our life, and we just don't think about, giving thanks to our God of understanding, and just, giving the God of our understanding that moment of just thank you. So what is it that's working for you in your life today? What is thriving in your life today? And just take a moment to just think about that. And then give the universe a thank you for all that's working for you. Just take that second to just take inventory on your life. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. Thank you. As we step into gratitude, I want to also talk today about intention. And so intention is everything, and without intention, you're wandering aimlessly through your life without a plan. So think about how important it is to have an intention, and how important it is to direct the universe, because the universe is a doing machine, and it only knows to do what you tell it to do. So sit in that and tell the universe, what is my intention for today? What is it that you want to walk away with? What aha do you want to have today? And I just want you to know that somewhere in this morning you were drawn here. And I want you to just ask yourself, what drew you here today? Something's pulling you. So just sit in that and be in gratitude for that. And I just want you to breathe into that. And I want you to know that that breath is a gift, and it's available to every single person, and it's free. So take that second and just breathe into that intention. And if you don't know what your intention is, just simply say, I am willing to receive what is ever for my greater and higher good. And so it is. So I want to talk today about the 5 steps to spiritual listening from my book, Spiritual Reliability. And each time I've spoken here, it's always been something from my book. And it's important today to understand that spiritual listening is when you learn how to spiritually listen, you can then become spiritually reliable. And spiritual reliability means to be loyal and obedient to the truth of spirit as it arrives in each moment. So be in that, and the idea is that there is ancient wisdom moving through you and all around you. I almost see it like it's just going from one ear to the other, and that this is really an ancient wisdom, and it's just coming from such a long time ago, and it's being passed down to all of us. And our work in this is to know that when we connect to that ancient wisdom, and we connect what maybe you want to call intuition or your gut, that you will just know that you know that you know. And you don't know why you know, but you just have a knowing. And I think my students all the time, they laugh at me when I say, you just know that you know that you know. And that comes from your intuition, and it comes from an ancient wisdom. So I just want to tell you that as I was preparing for this talk, I had one idea of what I was going to talk about, and I've done this talk before. However, if you've ever done a talk and you're what I would call I'm God's employee, that spirit has other plans for you. And this is really about this. I went into this going one way, and I was realizing, no, that's not where you're going today. So I wanted just you to know that the journey of putting together a talk is interesting. So I have a thing called create and readjust. And I called Amber and said, listen, just know that what I thought was happening is not happening. I have to listen to what Spirit's asked me to do. So one of the things I want you to know right off the bat is that we are all conduits for Spirit to move through us. And that is a very big statement. And I don't think that people really always understand what that means. that we're conduits, that we're these vessels that the universe works through. So God, universe, spirit, or what I refer to as Gus, is moving through you and all around you all the time. And there is no place that God is not. In everything, in everyone. However, in order for spirit to be totally activated in your life, you must be consciously aware of energy, what you're surrounded with, the people, the places, the environments, the influences, where you're living and what environment's like for you. Is it chaotic? Is it messy? Is it disheveled, untidy, disorganized? Activities that you're engaged in. Are you getting enough exercise? Are you being creative? Moving your energy in positive ways? These types of energies, like what you're putting in your body, drugs or alcohol that you're introducing into your system, the types of people you're surrounding yourself with, these and more all play a part in your energy. So think about that if you're a conduit for spirit to move through you, what are you doing? And do you think it's going to interfere with that frequency that can move through you? So you only rise as high as your tribe, and those people and places that you surround yourself with are going to dictate your physical, mental, and emotional and spiritual connection with spirit. Your inner and your outer environments are going to play a part in your vibration. So the Course in Miracles says that God cannot use an anxious mind. Now sit in that. Your frequency is disrupted when you're anxious. In order for us to dance with the angels, we must raise our vibrations. Angels are mediaries between you and God, which I find it interesting when you think about that idea that these angels are right above your head, and I'll go further. So these angels are mediaries, and they're a go-between you and your higher power. So you ask a question, or you have a want or a desire, and when you ask your angels, they run to God, they ask that question, and then you get the answer, and it comes back as either yes or no, or sometimes not now. And just because it's a delay doesn't mean it's a denial. It just means not right now. So your angels are hovering right above your head, but the key to co-creating with them is to raise your vibration and invite them in. The higher your vibration, the easier it will be for you to make that connection. It's a biblical principle that God cannot take away your free will. Therefore, you have total domination over your own life and how you choose to conduct it. If you live at a lower vibration, frequency, the angels and God will have a harder time connecting with you and utilizing you as a conduit. So that's a very big statement. So the higher your vibration, the more that the angels and the universe can connect with you. So you have to rise that vibration. And again, it goes around, who are you hanging out with? What are you doing with your body? What are you putting in your body? Even your environments are important. A quick story, I've coached thousands of people. And I remember I had this woman that I was working with one time, and I coached her probably 18 times, I think. It was something like that. She came to me every week. And there was this one time I heard Spirit say, go to her house. Call her up the day of and say, I'd like to invite you, if you're willing, to let me come to your place today and do a coaching session, because I couldn't quite dial in what was going on. And the moment I walked in the door, I went, oh. She was a hoarder. The house was like trails to get through. She had a little tiny chair that she sat in. You couldn't see the countertops, and a TV in front of her. And then I was like, got it. Her energy was being stifled, and she wasn't able to move in her life. And I was like, no wonder that she's not moving forward. So I want to just talk about this connection that we're talking about is dependent on your energy and the vibration in that moment, and will dictate how connected or disconnected you are at any given time. It's kind of like a Wi-Fi connection, or for those of you that remember old rabbit ears, right? And how we have to tune everything in. I know nowadays it's all about Wi-Fi. And we get really annoyed, right, when the Wi-Fi connection goes down. And so one way also to get clear with our spirit connection is to become a blended being. And so will you move that forward, Caleb? A blended being is this idea that you are a human being and that you're having two experiences, if you're aware. And that is the fact that you are earthbound, and you're also need to be also reaching into the heavens, reaching into the ethers. So the God, universe, spirit does its work through you. So just like my talk, every time I go into a talk, I'm literally downloading what I'm hearing from the heavens, from the ethers, from a higher place, a higher vibration. And I get that information, and then I drop it onto the ground. And what I call that is our groundwork. And if we don't do our groundwork, then nothing happens. So you have to be willing to listen to your higher power. It downloads into you, and then you do the work on this earth. The universe, God's spirit, works through you. I don't believe that God is this being that sits above and looks down on us. It's just my thought. It's energy. It's ancient wisdom. And you are the being that does the work. So what I talk about is about being a blended being. And in order for us to be a blended being, how we be in that is that we need to learn how to quiet ourselves to start off with. We need to learn how to connect into it. We need to learn how to listen when it comes. The spirit of the universe, God, you're listening for what it's wanting you to do. And then the most important part is we need to act. And this is where a lot of people get hung up, is an aha without momentum is worthless. If you don't do something with the information that's being downloaded into you, then you're going to be just floundering and nothing happens because it works through you and all around you and out of you. So someone that understands this concept is Oprah Winfrey. And I'm an Oprah lover. I love Oprah. Anyone else like Oprah? Yeah, exactly. So a high-level human path walker, I don't know where I got that from, but I love it. So it's a high-level human path walker, chooses to walk in the world as master teachers do or did to the best of our human abilities. So we have all these people that have gone before us that I refer to as high-level human path walkers, right? And so they walk in the world either by doing or being. And so the doing is an action or a demonstration, something everyone can see you doing. And a being is a state of mind. There's nothing for you to do. Now sit in that. So one of the things I tell my students is it's not what you do, it's who you are being when you're doing it. Sit in that. So we have two things that we're doing when we're listening and being that conduit for spirit to move through us and act. And we either do something, action that everyone can see, or we are being. So being is a state of mind. I be love, I be joy, I be happy, I be peaceful, I be calm. That's a state of mind. So I always ask my students now listen, as you tune into this, who do you be today? And they always give me that kind of cocker spaniel head tilt, like, what are you talking about? It's a conversation, it's a question that's very unique. So the Bible talks about the 9 fruits of the Spirit. And it says, only from these qualities will you bear fruit. And it comes from Galatians 5:2-2 through 5:2-4. Look it up. And it talks about that these qualities are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. These are states of being. There's nothing to do except be and make that mind shift. Who do you choose to be today? And these 9 fruits are a possibility for you. Another idea that might help you bear more fruit in your life would be to see these 4 letters, WWJD, which is what would Jesus do? Now again, Jesus triggers people, so it's like you choose to say, what would God do? What would the Spirit do? What would the universe do? It could remind you to align yourself with the mind of Jesus or other great teachers who taught and lived by these attributes and these qualities. To me, this is what spiritual reliability is. It's about choosing to use your life in the right ways. And I've talked about this. When I was writing my second book, Spiritual Reliability, that word righteous kept coming up to me. And I remember that word triggering me. Because I heard this once back when I was younger, that only the righteous will inherit the kingdom of God. And I thought it was very bold. But as I dug deeper in the word righteousness, it means right use. And that changed everything for me. So let me talk about more examples of those people that have gone before us or are current. And it's some examples of more modern teachers that you might be more familiar with are Oprah Winfrey, Mother Teresa, Gandhi, Don Miguel Ruiz, Wayne Dyer, Marianne Williamson, Buddha, Deepak Chopra, Carolyn Myss, Neil Donald Walsh, Joel Osteen, and many more. And the theme within these great teachers is they are spiritually reliable, they're willing to be utilized for a greater, higher purpose, and they have had a calling on their lives, and they align with that calling by asking the question, how may I serve? They listened, and then they acted with their life to contribute to the greater and more profound healing purpose in the world. That is a possibility for you. These people made a choice. They listened, and they knew they had a calling on their life, and they chose to walk into that calling. The thing about when we're being called, just like myself, I've been doing this work for 20 years, and I thought to myself, when I was younger, I thought, there's no way I would have been doing this in the world. But I asked, and I said, utilize me for the greater, higher good. Show me the way. What do you want me to do with my life? And I want it to be an impact in the world. I want to make a dent in the world and leave it there for the permanent civilization. And we think about Oprah. I mean, look at what she's done with her life. And she came from very, 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 meager ways in her life. So this always fascinates me about Oprah Winfrey. And it's this. Go ahead and move that before, there we go. Thank you. So Oprah Winfrey did 4,561 shows in 25 years, 2 times a day. Now sit in that. It's a lot. And she never missed one show. She showed up every single time. 4,561 shows later, 25 years later, and she chose to use her life in profound ways. And when she went from doing like smut TV from the beginning, and then she's, I'm not doing this no more, that's not what I signed up for. And then she created this thing called Change Your Life TV, and that's how she stepped into it. But I was watching her very last show, and I remember sitting there with my, engaged, I can't believe this woman's leaving us in the way we knew her. And what she said that she learned in those 4,561 shows is, let me be an instrument, not an ego, in the peace and healing of others. How can I use myself as a vessel for something bigger than the conversation I am in? How can I touch a nerve and bring a piece of light, a piece of information which allows someone to see themselves, to see their life in a way that opens them up, that gives them an aha or, I never thought of it that way before. Just imagine that that is your calling, that every exchange that you have that's a possibility within you. And that was profound to me when she spoke those words on her last show. So I was going to do this talk differently, and then I got the download not to. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be taking you through the 5 steps to spiritual listening. And I will be walking you through a guided meditation. And I'm going to be speaking to you every single time we step from one step to the next. And what I want to do for you is that the intention would be that you walk away with your own awarenesses and something you can apply to your life right away and then move forward into your clarity of your life. So let's begin. So I'm going to ask you, if you're willing, to quiet yourself. And if for those of you that are here or virtually that are somewhere else in the world, we thank you for being here. I just want to ask you to get that for most people, quieting their mind can be the most difficult task at hand, but by far, it's the most important step to spiritual listening. You have to start quieting before you can listen and move forward. So I just want to ask you to close your eyes for a moment and be with me in this. So here's what I'm going to say. Just be with me. There's nothing for you to do, but just be. So go ahead and just close your eyes, and you can't do this wrong. And if you find your mind drifting, I just invite you to come back to my voice. So for those of you at home, I just want you to turn off your phones, your computers and TVs off, and find a quiet space to lie down, and yet you're not going to be bothered. So for those of us here at the center, you're going to sit in a way that you are going to stay present and relaxed. You close your eyes and begin to breathe in slow, controlled ways. In and out, over and over, until you feel yourself becoming calm. Begin to observe your inner thoughts, your inner dialogue, and watch your thoughts pop up and then disappear as quickly as they arrive. And know that your thoughts are like clouds that are in the sky. Your thoughts are going to float by just as clouds do above you. And become aware of your body from your head to your toe, and continue to be aware of your inner thoughts. If you notice your inner thoughts, simply come back to visualizing your breath. And see your breath moving in and out of your body. Then simply see yourself pushing all your thoughts away with your breath. And once you begin to feel calm and centered, you now know that you are ready to spiritually connect. You now know how to quiet yourself. Step 2, spiritual connection. Now that you've quieted your mind, continue to breathe and begin to feel a divine pull into a quiet, neutral, sacred space. Feel the safety and the warmth of this space as it calls you in to make the connection to the divine. Breathe in and out. and see yourself connected to an electrical cord, but it's connected to a lamp. And see your hand now plugging that cord into the outlet on the wall. And once that's happened, slowly move your hand up and turn on the light. The light illuminates around you and the space that you're in. Breathe in and out. And know now that you are plugged into your divine source. You can feel the universal energy moving through you and all around you, swirling and moving and surrounding you everywhere. You now know that you become connected to Spirit. Step 3. Spiritual listening. Slowly open up your inner ears and prepare yourself to listen to the whispers within you. Become willing to dance in the mystery of the unknown and see yourself as an open channel for information to come and go. See yourself like a straw, allowing fluid to move in and out of you. You are clean. You are clear, open channel for information and divine knowledge to move through you and all around you. Place your hand now on your heart and allow the fluidity of Spirit's voice to come in and through you. And as you listen, you discern the voice, the whispers of Spirit, as 2 types of spiritual listening. You can be a messenger for yourself, or you can be a messenger for someone else. Slowly breathe. And now ask your higher self, is there something I need to know about myself right now that will propel me into living a higher purpose in my life? Listen and record the answer. Ask it again. Higher self, is there something I need to know about myself right now that will propel me into living a higher purpose in my life? Listen and record the answer. Now see yourself living a life with a higher purpose. A purpose that would serve the greater and higher good in the world. Where are you? What are you doing? How does it feel to be living a life of purpose? How are people receiving your contribution? What is the result of your contribution? And how are you being and doing that in the world? Listen and record the answer. Now, let's check in with your higher self and see if you're being called to be a messenger for someone else. Breathe in and out. Again, in and out. And ask your higher self, is there something I need to say, revealed to someone else in my life? Listen and record the answer. Ask it again. Is there something I need to say, revealed to someone else in my life? Listen and record the answer. To help you hear this answer, ask your higher self, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say? And to whom? Listen and record the answer. In this moment, it's not important for you to comprehend what you're hearing right now, because these messages are seeds being planted to manifest in divine timing. It does not have to make sense to you in this exact moment. See, hear, feel, sense, and smell. You are the vessel being utilized in these perfect moments. You walk into the world and know everything manifests in perfect divine order and perfect divine timing. You say to yourself, I'm only the messenger, and it only needs to make sense to the individual who's receiving the message. You now know how to listen. Step 4, spiritual courageousness. You have faith in the divine whispers that you hear as you're brave and honest and loving with yourself and others. You walk into the world with supreme faith in your connection with the divine, and your faith is greater than your doubt. You feel yourself hesitating. If you do, you need to ask for help. There are 2 types of help, human help and divine help. If you become afraid, worried, or confused in taking any leaps in your life, see yourself asking for help from those people in your life that you know love you. See those people in your mind's eye, those that love you. You realize and know you cannot do it alone. No one can do it alone. And become willing to call out for spiritual guidance and direction if your faith is shaken. See yourself asking the many light beings and angels who are willing to support you in being spiritually courageous. You quickly and easily acknowledge the messages you receive as divine love coming from a loving source, and you allow the messages you receive to go where it needs to go. In order for you to complete its cycle and journey, a spiritually reliable person knows it takes much bravery to stand up to the forces of this world. You know that every encounter and every message you receive is a divine appointment for yourself or for others. You see yourself speaking and doing and going wherever Spirit needs you next. This world is in spiritual warfare, and being courageous, nothing will get done if you don't do it. Nothing changes. More importantly, the opportunities will be utilized for the greater higher purpose will be lost. You are spiritually courageous and brave to speak Spirit's word when they arrive. You now know how to be courageous. Step 5, spiritual reliability. Step 5 is the most important step of them all and is required to make a profound difference in the world. And you must be willing to take action when action is called for. Listen-only mode will not move you or the world forward. And higher guidance can only guide you if you allow it. And then you are to act with your body. It is acting with your body through doing and speaking and showing up for a greater higher purpose. It is knowing you are being utilized to do the work here and the now on earth. It is the act of serving yourself or others by either doing something or revealing something. It's knowing you are the hands and the voice and the ears and the feet in which the universe does its work. Sometimes being spiritually reliable is to pray and release. You pray for love and you pray for light. It may not always be about giving the person a message or helping them. You may be directed to just pray. In prayer, we're actually co-creating with the universal energy as a conduit for a certain outcome, or praying within ourselves as an intercessory for the higher and greater good of this person. Higher and greater good is not in your timing, it's in divine timing. And true intercession is when you know that the people cannot ask for themselves, so you do it for them. To intercede on someone's behalf, however, when praying for others, you must sometimes do it confidentially. The key is to release the attachment to the outcome and knowing the universe has a plan for the person or situation. You may have a vision for the outcome for yourself or others. Let God take the will and know God can dream a bigger dream than you could possibly dream for yourself or for others. Whatever you hear is not yours to hold on to, and you may not even remember what you saw or said. And once you speak it or pray it out, let the angels take it to God and bring it back in divine timing and divine order. Take a breath and know now that you are spiritually reliable. And as we close the 5 steps to spiritual listening, we affirm and we say to our higher power, I now know when I learn how to spiritually listen, I can then become spiritually reliable. I say yes to claiming and learning how to integrate the 5 steps to spiritual listening into my everyday life. I'm willing to take time each day to quiet my mind so I can hear the divine whispers moving through me and all around me. I release this prayer now into the law of God as done. And so it is. And when you're ready, open up your eyes and say to Spirit, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is.